I didn't know that I should not have been able to do that. And I wonder how many times in our lives we actually think the very thing that we must accomplish is impossible because we keep telling ourselves it is impossible, because it hasn't been done before, because everyone else says it cannot be done. So I want to just take a few moments to talk to you about 3 different ingredients that will give you self-mastery in your life. It will allow you to live at an optimal level every single day of your life and build an internal world that will be strong enough to face all the challenges in your life. And the first one is energy. So I want to talk to you just for a minute about your energy, because I hear so much about time management, and I think we're all quickly realizing that energy management is way more important than time management. And I'm telling you, I'm standing in front of you at the age of 64, and energy management is way more important than time management, because I have no control over time. I cannot change how old I am. I cannot change how long I've lived, but I can have mastery over my energy. And I want to just for a moment talk about 4 different ways that your energy is expended. You have physical energy, you have social energy, you have psychological energy, and they have emotional energy. And all of these different energies pull at you and can leave you drained. Even at breakfast this morning, I got up, I had this Oura ring where I'm now documenting how much I sleep and how much I walk. And so last night I slept 3 hours and 51 minutes. Had about maybe 10 minutes of REM sleep. And I got up and I went to take a walk, then went to the gym and worked out. Then I went over to breakfast around 7 o'clock. I'm sitting with these young guys, and you guys didn't look more than 18 to me. But, I imagine you're under 30. And one of the first things I heard is one of the guys said, "I got to go get some sleep." And I thought, this is so interesting. We live in a world where we're always tired. Have you ever noticed that? That there just seems to be like a cultural narrative of you're just supposed to always be tired, especially if you're an entrepreneur. You're supposed to be tired all the time. I mean, what is it about us that even the moment after we're awake, we could actually have already lost all of our energy? I'll tell you why. It's because there are things in life that draw energy and things in life that actually infuse energy. If you don't understand how you're designed, you will constantly losing energy rather than gaining energy. Now, some of you are high on social energy. The moment you walk into a crowd, you just get energized. And some of you are incredibly low on social energy. The moment you enter a room, it just starts draining you. I am actually an extreme social introvert. The moment I walk into the room, I feel a little bit of panic and a lot of energy leaving my body. In fact, yesterday at dinner, I walked in with friends and they all went to the front table, and I turned the other direction and I went to the back table all by myself. I always look for the table that's empty. I want it to fill up, because if you're an introvert, don't you hope people find you? Right? I want it to fill up. I want to interact with people. I want to engage people. It just costs me so much to be the initiator of that dynamic. And I went up and I told my guys, hey, and I gave them, I'm going to leave a little early. And so I didn't want to come up here and sit down. And they said, yeah, we saw you turn the other direction. So I went and got my stuff and came and sat in the front. And I told myself, expend the social energy. These people matter. There are times in your life you just have to decide this is exactly where you need to expend that energy. But not only social, you have physical energy. Now, some people, we use this analytic that helps us assess people's physical energy. And it's a scale from 1 to 99. And I have a guy on my team who was a 2. And when I looked at his 2, I thought, was this a bad hire? This guy has no physical energy available, except he does. He is brilliant with his 2. He looks more efficient with his 2 than I look like with my 97. This guy would never be the person you would think is low energy, because what he's learned how to do is he's learned how to be physically engaged and energetic whenever he needs to, and then he taps out right before he loses all the energy, so you never see him crush. Every time you see him, you think he's the most physically energetic person in the world. I love playing basketball when I'm not injured. and injuries come faster now. But I played one time with old guys like my age. It was horrible. I was afraid they were going to break, and it was so slow. And I spent my life playing with guys in their 20s and 30s. My son's 34. I love playing against him. I love beating him. And I'm convinced I'm going to get into my 70s before he can beat me. But he also tries not to hurt me. But a part of what's interesting to me is we play usually for 2 hours. The first hour, I lose. The second hour, I almost always win. Because that first hour, all those 20-year-olds are going crazy. They're using up all that energy. I'm just conserving my energy, hitting a three here, layup here, pass here. That second hour, it looks as if they lose all their talent because they've lost their energy. All of a sudden, I'm faster. And they always ask me, how do you get so much better the second hour? I said, no, I'm not better. You're just worse. And you have actually lost the energy to match your opponent. I think in life, so many times what we don't realize is that we're having energy pulled out of our bodies, and sometimes it's social energy, and sometimes it's physical energy. You're just physically exhausted. And you have to learn how to treat your body well. But there's, I think, two other energies that are more significant. One's psychological energy. You may have so much physical energy and so much social energy, but you're being drained by psychological energy because you have constant conflicts in your life. You have broken relationships in your life. You have a marriage that isn't working well. You have kids that are no longer listening to you, respecting you, or maybe even loving you. You have things in your life that are just draining you psychologically. And even though you have physical energy and social energy, that psychological energy is sucking you dry. And if you underestimate the power of psychological energy, you will not understand why you want to go to bed right after you wake up. And then the fourth one is emotional energy. In one of those algorithms, we actually see how much emotion a person brings into their decision-making, which I always think is interesting because probably 90% of the people I've graphed are men. And men normally think that they bring no emotions into the decision-making. And yet the reality is almost every single male entrepreneur that we've graphed has emotional energy that is so high that they think their emotions are facts. And the difference between men and women is not that women are emotional and men are not. It's that women know they're emotional and men are stupid. That we don't know how much of our emotional energy we're bringing into our decision-making process. And if you bring a lot of emotion into every decision is exhausting for you. And so when you procrastinate decision-making, what you're actually doing is expending energy that you could have conserved by making the decision sooner. The first realm, the first space is that space of energy. And as you begin to pay attention to that, you'll actually begin to redirect your life. I have a Tesla. I think I was one of the first, few 100,000 people in the world that had one. And I have this Tesla X, and it's supposed to do a lot of things that it actually doesn't do. But, Elon's okay selling it with the potential of its capacity. And my Tesla is an automatic driving car, but it's a little terrifying when it drives itself. And so I was driving from San Diego back to LA. I put it on like navigation, just said, you just do you. That's why I paid for you. And I'm just going to chill and enjoy life. And so it had the map out all the way to my house. And all of a sudden, the map went crazy on me. And it was taking me off the next exit, going down like 5 different roads. And I'm like, what are you doing? It's because I didn't pay attention. I had no electricity left in my car. And so the Tesla, with its brain that was more functional than mine, knew that I wasn't going to make it home. So it redirected me to a superstation, which I did not know existed until that moment, so that I could get enough energy to go home. And most of us spend our lives not paying attention to when we don't have any energy left. But we don't want to waste our life because you're a driver, you're an achiever, you've got work to do, you've got money to make, you've got deals to close, so you're not going to redirect yourself and re-navigate your life to make sure you get the energy that you need. But when I was young and had a gas-driven car, I cannot tell you how many times I found myself stuck on the side of the road, hoping that my car would run without gas. And some of you, you look like you're still moving, but the gas is already gone, and you're just psychologically stalled on the side of the road.